Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is going to be about the cutting and sewing of this Ankara dress I'm wearing. If this is something you're interested in making, kindly keep watching. Now the materials that we are going to be needing are Ankara. I used 2 yards for this. We are also going to need our bias tape, our sewing machine, tape measure, and then some scissors, as well as our chalk to take our measurements. Now let's get right into making this dress. So we are going to be working on our front first. I folded my front into two, and then from the center front I measured 1 inch from the top to the hemline, and I went ahead to use my ruler to straighten the line out. And also on the top line I measured 1 inch as well. That is where our measurements are going to be starting from. And then I measured my shoulder to my bust point and my shoulder to my waist, as well as my shoulder to my hip line. And then I took the length of my dress, that is 37, and then I added 2 inches allowance for the hemming of the dress. Now I use my ruler to straighten the lines out so that we can get a very straight line when we are taking our body measurements on. Now from there I took half of my shoulder measurement, which was 7, and then I divided it into half as well. And I went ahead to take my sleeve length, which was 9 inches. It was 8, and I added 1 inch allowance to it. Sorry, 2 inches allowance, making it 10. Now please note that we are cutting the sleeve together with the dress. So from there I went ahead to take my armhole measurement, which was 9, and then I used my ruler to straighten it out. Then I went ahead to take my body measurement, starting from my bust point. I took my bust divided into 4 plus 1 inch for ease, and then 1.5 inch for allowance. I did the same with my waist. My waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for ease, and then 1.5 inch for the allowance. Now I transferred my hip measurement onto my hemline, and then I use my curves to draw my measurements out in order for us to be able to see where we are going to cut. Now from there I took my neck measurements. The depth is 6, and then the width is 3.5, and then I ruled it out to get our V-neck. And then I went down on the shoulder line. I went down 1 inch and then sloped it into my neck measurement to get that slanted shoulder look that we have on our dresses. Now we are cutting our dress out, our front out, and then we are going to be putting this our front onto our back, and then we cut. Now for our back we are going to measure 1.5 inch. That will be for our zipper. There's not going to be any slit on this, so then we just measure our 1.5 inch as our zipper allowance, and then we take our front and then put it on. Now please note that the measurement is going to start from the zip allowance, and then I folded the 1 inch that we did on the front, folded it in, and then placed it on the zip allowance, the starting of the zip allowance. Now for the front as well, our measurement started from the 1 inch allowance that we left. Please note that. So I use my ruler to straighten the shoulder into the back in order for us to be able to get our neckline for our back. Now the neck depth of my back, I made it 2.5 inch. You can decide to make yours 1.5 or 1 inch depending on what you like, but I made mine 2.5. And then we went ahead to cut the back out as well. Now from there we are going to be sewing the slits. Now we are going to leave 6 inches up, moving from the hemline upwards, and then from there we are going to sew from the 6 inches that we left the point to the top. And when we finish, we are going to open the slit, the part that we sewed, and then iron and fold it in to give it a neat finish, just like I'm doing. And then we'll go to our sewing machine and then sew it down when we finish folding it in. So when we are done, we are going to take our bias. For the bias, I use a normal cotton bias. I didn't get the velvet one, but then if we get the velvet one, that is nice. So I'm going to be turning my neckline inside out, sorry. So you sew from the front and then you turn it over to the back. I'm piping it with my bias. Now this is me piping my neckline. I'm going to be doing this for the front and the back as well. So we are going to be pinning our bias on the front from the neckline down to the hemline, and then we are going to pin. So the bias should be close to the slits where we sewed our slits, the parts on the slit, the 1 inch that we left. So you should be very close to the part that we sewed, the 1 inch slit that we sewed on our machine. So very close to it. You arrange it neatly like I am doing, and then we'll go onto our sewing machine and sew. Now when you are sewing, you are going to be seeing some small folds around the curve on the neckline. This is because because of the curve over there, it's not going to be straight. So it's fine when you are doing it and then you see small folds appearing, or you are getting about 1 or 2 folds there. Yeah, so the fold is going to be around the curve where the vein is meeting. You see some curves over there. So we sew from the top, the shoulder down to the hemline on both sides. Now we went ahead to hem the neckline for the back too, and then we go ahead to pin the front and the back together to sew our shoulder. Please note, right sides facing each other, and then we put our shoulders together and then we sew. Now this is me ironing my zip allowance out, and then I went ahead to hem my sleeve and then the hem of my dress. So I like to iron them out so that when I go to the sewing machine, I don't have to pin before. It just gets neatly laid out. And then I went ahead to fix my zip. Please comment if you want a video on how I fix my zip. Now for my pocket, the depth is 7 inches and the wideness is 6, and the length of my pocket is 12. You can make yours 11 or 10, anyhow that you think will be good for you. Then I went ahead to shape it out and then I cut. We are going to get 4 pieces, 2 for the left, 2 for the right. Now from my shoulder I came down 17 inches, and then after that I marked the depth of my pocket, that is 7. So from there I went ahead to shape my dress. So I sewed from my sleeve, my armhole to the point of the pocket that we made, and then the other point to the hemline. Then we went ahead to pin the pockets on the allowance. We sew a straight line on each of them, and then we'll join them together. Please comment if you'd like to see how I fix my pockets from the start to the finish. So after we finish, that is the final look. Now thank you for watching and see you in my next video. Bye.